The heavy rain hammered against the tin roof of the roadside gas station, blurring the neon lights into streaks of red and blue. Under the canopy, 6 massive motorcycles sat idling, their chrome pipes hissing in the damp air. The riders, members of the Iron Titans, stood in a circle, smoking cigarettes and ignoring the wary glances of travelers rushing to their cars. At the center was Silas, a giant of a man with a beard like steel wool and eyes that had seen too much of the dark. The automatic doors of the station slid open, but instead of a weary traveler, a small boy, no older than 7, stepped out into the storm. He wasn't wearing a coat, only a thin t-shirt, shivering violently. He didn't run to a car. Instead, he walked straight toward the circle of giants. The other bikers went silent, shifting their boots, but Silas didn't move. He watched the boy approach, noticing the bruise blooming on the kid's jawline and the terror vibrating off him like heat. The boy stopped in front of Silas, craning his neck to look up. He didn't ask for money. He didn't ask for food. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a crumpled, wet dollar bill and held it up with a trembling hand. "Mister," the boy whispered, his voice cracking. "My mom says monsters are afraid of bigger monsters. Are you a big monster?" Silas looked at the dollar bill, then at the bruise, and finally at the beat-up sedan parked in the shadows where a man was angrily gesturing for the boy to come back. The air around the pump seemed to drop 10 degrees. Silas flicked his cigarette away and knelt on one knee, ignoring the wet pavement, bringing his face level with the child. "Yeah, kid," Silas grumbled, his voice low and dangerous like distant thunder. "I'm the biggest monster you'll ever meet." The boy exhaled, a sound of pure relief. "Can you scare him away?" He pointed to the sedan. "He hurts us. He says nobody can stop him." Silas stood up, his leather vest creaking. He didn't take the dollar. Instead, he placed a massive hand on the boy's shoulder, light as a feather. He looked at his brothers, and without a single word spoken, 6 engines roared to life in unison. It wasn't the sound of travel, it was the sound of war. They didn't beat the man in the sedan, they didn't have to. They simply surrounded the car, a wall of iron and denim, while Silas called the police and stood between the vehicle and the boy like a human fortress. When the flashing lights of the patrol cars finally cut through the rain, the man in the sedan was weeping in fear, surrendered without a fight. The boy sat on Silas's bike, wrapped in a leather vest that swallowed him whole, dry and warm. As the officer took a statement, the boy looked at Silas. "You're a good monster," he said. Silas, a man who hadn't smiled in a decade, smirked. "Only for you, kid. Only for you."